Hello, everybody.
What up? What up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown. And welcome to this week's edition of Late Night Reds, brought to you by the Riverfront, part of the Blue Wire Media Network, where you can also come hang out with us thanks to our wonderful friends at patreon.com/riverfrontcincy. And Ben, I don't know if you noticed behind me, we changed the office around.
Yeah, I see. I see. We got some of the goats in the background with the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
That's
So
legit. That's
Grace,
legit.
Grace went all out and made my office an office, woman's touch. So,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. And I had to make sure I make mention that if you saw the subject matter of today's show, there's a reason I wore my Darkwing Duck sweatshirt. As we know, for those who followed the show for a long time, when I wear this shirt, that means we're getting dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the
Absolutely.
Darkwing Duck theme song, there's the infamous line that says, "Let's get dangerous." So,
Absolutely.
if you're here for a little dangerous convo, we're the people for you. But before we do get into some Reds lingo, in the club, we all fam. And I got to celebrate my family today, being Ben Brown, my big brother. His kids are my niece and nephew. My kid is his niece. Ben has been there for 20 years for me.
Absolutely.
I got to talk about my nephew for a minute. Isaac Brown, Deuce. Pick 6 this week in the playoffs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah,
Pick
it was
in the playoffs.
Yeah, man. He getting it done, man. He actually, as far as game wise, probably one of the more complete games he's played, man. He was pretty locked in. He had some pretty big tackles, some pretty big breakups. And then of course we get towards the end there, and the game was there. We were up, and then they were still trying to drive, man, and he shut the door. So it was nice. It was a lot of fun to watch, and he played really well. So.
Yeah, man. I saw the clip. It's awesome. I should have got a copy of it and put it up here, but we'll get one next week when he does it again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So shout out my nephew, Isaac Brown, for doing his thing today and this week in the playoffs as the Cooper Jaguars keep their perfect season alive.
Absolutely, man.
All right, man. So there are a few hot button topics going around the world of the Cincinnati Reds this week. So I want to get to. I also want to make mention as well. My cool cup. Check this out.
Ooh.
I got this at Disney World in 2020.
Oh, nice.
It lights up.
I like that. That's legit.
It has the claw in it, and the more you drink it down, the aliens from Toy Story show up inside the cup.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, that's sick.
Mm-hmm.
That's first class Disney right there.
Yep.
That's first class Disney.
Yep, which you can now book your Disney vacations with me. Give me a call.
There you go. Holla at your boy.
Yeah, holla at your boy. And there may or may not be bourbon in this Coke tonight. There is. But
that's all good,
Yeah. In the club, we all fam. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, man. So I want to start obviously with the news that came out this week about this is the funniest press release I think of all time.
Oh yeah.
So the Reds announced that they have sold their stake in FanDuel Sports for $1 via wire transfer.
Yeah.
Guys, a wire transfer for a business is a $90 fee. So the Reds just literally spent, and I don't know, maybe they have it different because they're an organization.
Yeah, could be, but still, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
So obviously 2 things come out of this. One, how freaking hilarious is it they sent a wire for $1 and put it in the press release?
Yep.
That's like the fun, there's the thing that always came out that Griffey lost that bet to one of the players and he paid him back in all pennies.
All pennies.
Yeah, his locker. That's like the petty level, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
But obviously, big picture in this is that the Reds will have a new television partner next season. That is probably really good news, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So nothing's really been announced as far as who the Reds are going to be considering. We kind of listed some options last week. I'm still all for the Amazon idea. If Amazon's going to go ahead and start doing baseball. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. That's really nice. So that's one that really kind of jumps out. I love the MLB app idea because look, like we said last week, streaming's not going away. That's what things are now.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Steve. Ain't no way Phil paid a wire transfer fee. Must have had a promo code. That deserves a lot of my cup.
Put in /Reds55 to knock all the fees off.
Oh, good. So that was kind of funny. But so Amazon, MLB app, are things that really came up. I realistically don't care as long as I can watch the games, obviously.
Yeah.
But I do think the baseball kind of separating themselves from the teams that are on ballot, because there's obviously some Comcast teams, NBC teams. The teams that are separating themselves from Bally / FanDuel, I think, are doing the right move because that is a sinking ship.
Yeah. I like the app idea or streaming idea because you can just take that everywhere. So I mean, I'm not always home to be able to watch things, but you know, if I'm out and about and I can flip on the MLB app and it's, you know, it's going to be some kind of fee, $19.99, $15.99, but whatever it is, most people that are fans are going to pay that fee if they want to watch their favorite team. So you might as well put it somewhere where everybody has access to it. And that's the biggest thing. You know, I don't like when things are blacked out. I don't like when things are, you can't have access to them for certain reasons or whatever. So it's nice to be able to have that option of putting on an app or a streaming service where you can watch your games wherever.
Yeah. I don't know. Is Netflix getting it in the sports world? I think it's only a matter of time, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're getting there.
Yeah, they're getting WWE.
I was going to say, I think WWE is kind of the testing ground to see where it's going to be. But it'll be, I mean, they'll pick up a major sport here within the next 5 years, 3 to 5 years for sure. I mean, outside of WWE, which is already massive, but they'll pick up somebody else.
So I have to make sure I make mention of this because it's been mentioned twice now in the comments. Steve first said and Sydney said it. Yes, I have been live for days on end. And how are you all not sick of me? So I just want to make sure I do acknowledge that. Yes, I appreciate you guys who have been hanging out with me every night because I cover an NBA team as well. So
a really good NBA team, by the way.
Yeah. That's right. And Steve's bringing up the great point here. Netflix, I was going to bring it up as well.
Oh yeah, they do. Yep.
Yeah, they have the Mike Tyson.
Really good point.
The Mike Tyson quote unquote fight.
Yeah.
God, I hope Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Oh, dude, I don't even really follow boxing.
I don't either.
Stuff like that.
I don't either.
Dude, I just want to see him just put glove to face and knock him squarely back, dude. And I've been very fortunate to be able to watch of course the older Mike Tyson and see that stuff like I don't think people
a $60 pay-per-view for the 30
yeah. I don't think people realize like that guy is still in there. I don't care how old he is, like that guy's still in there. And he's still dangerous. So I mean, it would do me, gosh, that would make my whole like month if he were just to hit him square in the jaw and knock him through the ropes. Like that would be incredible.
Wouldn't it, man? Like, I know the death price sounds horrible to say, but the revitalization of Mike Tyson is something that everyone should say, I need to go ahead and hire his PR reps because doing The Hangover and all these things have made you like, yeah, he was a shitty person for a long time, but he's figured it out.
Yeah, man, he has for sure. Sure.
Him and Michael Vick must have the same PR reps or something. Yeah, because those dudes completely revitalized things.
Yeah, I mean if you've watched him recently, man, like he is just a completely different person. Now I'll say this: getting back into the fight game, like people talk about, you know, being two separate people with him. Like there's something about that switch that makes him different. It's like when football players talk about on the field, off the field. Yeah, like you're just a different like once that switch clicks in for him, like he he can't turn that part off of him. Like he's going to be in the ring and he's going to be trying to knock that dude's head off, which is going to be fun.
He's not going there for the gimmick. If the gimmick's
no, gosh, no.
If he don't eat someone's ear, I'm canceling my subscription. Is a very great Steve Offenbaker comment. All right, so back to Red Stock. Yeah, I think that I'm excited to see where things play out with this. I haven't heard anything. I realistically don't have any details. John, I haven't really touched base with him to see if he has anything. I think he's kind of in the same limbo we all are, where we're just trying to figure out where it happens from here. So I hope the best for all those guys. And I'm glad that right now, those guys are still Reds employees. So I hope that stays that way.
Yeah.
All right. So on to transaction news. Nick Martinez rumored to be picking up his QO.
Mm-hmm.
So this is fantastic news.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Absolutely.
the excitement of Terry Francona. This is the joy of some of the guys who did their thing last year sticking around to kind of make this thing better as we make this transition. And it's another nice way to shore up your starting rotation with the Hunters and the guys like that. So I still think they should go out and get a starter.
Absolutely.
I'm very, very happy to hear this. I'm happy he wants to stay. Look, I've said it for weeks. I said it on Locked On Reds. I've said it here. I was all for giving him more money for him to stay because of everything he did for the team last year. He was the best pitcher in baseball in September, realistically.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear that it looks like we're going to have Nick Martinez back with the club next season.
Oh, 100%, man. Like for a while there, he was our MVP. I mean, that guy did so many good things and so many things well. Like he was a bright spot in an otherwise kind of down September's run for us. So to get him back into the fold is going to be huge because he was very, very solid. He's a guy that you could run out there and give you quality innings and quality starts, and those are the kind of guys you need around. So, yep, for sure. I'm very excited. Walker Buehler, I like that too. But I'm very excited that Q is out there and that he has a chance to sign that, and we get him back for sure.
Yeah, especially we talk about this all the time. Expecting people to kind of get back to where they were last year's gonna be tricky, but for him. I think that he's just steady enough that you can kind of count on him year in and year out to do the things he did. This is something that Steve says here. I love the qualifying offer. It's short term. He gets a $9 billion bonus for having a career year. And when a rookie is ready, they can take his spot. Nail on the head. This is the perfect situation where for him, it's kind of go out there and do your thing and, spend your twilight of your prime here, help this team as they grow and get more mature. And we roll from there. So I like that a lot.
Yep. And it's kind of not what the Reds usually do, like thanking somebody for their service. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like they usually don't do things like that.
I haven't spit my drink out.
I mean, but that's not a very Reds thing to do. Like,
No, it's not. You're right. You're absolutely right.
That guy came in and was, like I said, was a bright spot in a lot of down things that happened. So it was nice to see them give him that $9 million and the qualifying offer. I mean, that's not something the Reds usually do. So
yeah,
it was good to see.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. While we're on the subject, so the story coming out about Nick Krall saying that there's been a call to Joey's team to have him be a part of the organization. What do you think about that?
So there's a lot of righting of wrongs I think they're trying to do. I think they realized they messed up on how they handled it. And I think that you need as many bright spots going into an uncertain year as possible. So bringing back arguably the greatest Red ever is a start to that.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the big kind of like olive branch things for them. They're trying to correct some wrongs. And I hope that Joey is back in some capacity. I don't know what that looks like or what that'll be, but that guy deserves to be in the Reds organization. Like he's earned that right. And at whatever capacity. I mean, whatever capacity that is, he's earned the right to be in this organization. He means so much to the city and this organization that, yeah, I hope they did. I hope all of that coming out is true, that they've reached out to him. Now, you know, I mean, Joey could say no. I mean, Joey would never say that there was bad blood about how that went down, but you got to know that he was not happy how that went down.
There absolutely was. And
you know,
I won't get into the details of things that have been leaked out there that I've but I do know, and this is just kind of me picking up from conversations I've heard. So this is not something where I'm gonna like kind of go out there and say like this is 1,000% true, but this is kind of me putting the pieces together.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
Being Detective Tim, they made the first step. They made the first right step in the circumstance. If you catch my drift,
absolutely.
The guy who's not in charge of the 26-man lineup was the first step. Not being part of the organization anymore. So I don't know if that's going to lead to it being a better thing for him. And I think that I'm not saying anything that's breaking ground. We saw what he did last week. I mean, we saw how he handled the end of that season, and got ejected on his last game. I'm not convinced that wasn't for a reason. I'm really not.
I agree with that. I would agree with that.
I'm not trying to get hot takey or anything here. We know that's not really how I do things. But yeah, if there's a way he can be involved in the organization, then I'm happy for it. Nick mentioned it on Hot Stove, so I wonder what that kind of turns into. So we'll see how that goes as well. David, come on, man. David S., happy to see you here. Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out, but don't bury the lead yet, okay? We gotta get there. We build it up. This is called show business.
in the biz, it's what we call it. It's a build. We're getting there.
Yeah. Nick, that is what I am wink, wink, cough, coughs, air quote saying. All right.
Yes.
So I don't have any 1,000% confirmation of that. I'm just saying that's how I feel. Because body language says a lot, right, guys?
Yep. And that would make sense. I mean, if you're putting two and two together, I mean, that move, it screams, I'm sorry. So yeah.
Yeah.
Take it where you want, guys. Take it where you want.
Yeah, for sure. So shall we get dangerous?
Absolutely.
Let's get dangerous.
Yes.
Darkwing Duck. By the way, is Darkwing Duck immensely underrated?
Oh, 1,000%.
Dude.
1,000%.
Like, so Grace didn't know what it was when I bought the sweatshirt. She was like, "What's Darkwing Duck?" And I was like, "You have no idea how wonderful it is." And I understand we have a 3-year difference, so I'm not upset with her about it.
Right.
But so underrated.
Yes.
Great video game, if people remember that from Sega Genesis. So, and I know they've made a reboot on Disney X, I think is what it's called. We should know this. We have kids, but yeah. So,
greatly underrated, underappreciated.
Thank you for backing me up on that. I appreciate it.
No doubt.
Okay, so the reason for the main topic, as you guys can see here, is that this has come up multiple times now this past week. And the conversation is about one former National League MVP just 2 years ago in Paul Goldschmidt. And multiple assets. I don't know how reliable they are. This is not me just trying to but I'm saying that this is what's been going on the internet. Steve wants to talk DuckTales? Buddy, we could do a podcast on DuckTales.
Oh.
Life is like a hurricane into Duck World. Might solve a mystery. Or rewrite history. DuckTales.
Woo! Make sure you pay the copyright for that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. You guys will know what you come here for. You know what you come here for. All right. So, Paul Goldschmidt has been linked by multiple media outlets to the Cincinnati Reds. And the conversation I want to have about this is not necessarily, I think it's going to happen. That's not what I'm getting at. But the more I think about it, the more I kind of think it kind of makes sense. And I'm not going to go and say they should do it. but I do want to have the conversation on it. So, what was said, and this is from The Right Way, from Marissa Myers, legitimately wrote, Paul Goldschmidt will sign with the Cincinnati Reds. And her point was, with losing Joey Votto, it created a void at first base, one that was larger than what could have been imagined. During 2024, they had a rotation at first base with Spencer Steer, Ty France, Jeimer Candelario, and Christian Carlson-Strand. France is no longer with the team, and the Reds still have don't have a sure solution to position for the upcoming 2025 season. Something Francona's got to figure out to ensure the Reds go far in his first year. The solution can be found in free agency and happens to be in a player who knows the NL Central very well. This player is Paul Goldschmidt, consistently with Cardinals third baseman. So, I'm seeing a lot of I'm out on Goldie, and this is great. I really appreciate the conversation. I'm willing to listen to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where I'm at on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all kind of agree the game plan is Christian Carlson-Strand will be the first baseman in Cincinnati Reds in 2025. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with figuring out, can he be a consistent guy? But I think that, and I fully understand that for the people who are out, in the sense that Goldie's not the guy he was even 2 years ago. Right. And totally get that. But is he still very capable at 37 years old of giving you 25, 30 home runs a year, especially playing 81 games at GABP? Is he certainly capable of still playing a good first baseman? Is he better than the guys you've had playing first baseman since Joey left? You can't say no to any of those. Now, that's where I'm at in the sense of, okay, I think the Cincinnati Reds are in a situation where they need an adult in the room.
Man.
And for him to be a future Hall of Famer, an MVP winner, a guy who's played in the postseason, having him does not hurt the team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can understand if the Reds decide this is just hearsay and we're not going to do it. Completely fine with that. But I am kind of, and I don't want to talk before you talk in this sense. I'll give my opinion after you, but are you open to Goldie playing for the Reds next year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Here's where it fits for me, and I think that you brought up a really good point. You're bringing in a new manager, a guy that's used to working with veterans, a guy that's won with veterans, a guy that uses veteran leadership as motivation. We've all talked about this last year. With there not being enough veteran leadership in the locker room. You know, the manager is a part of a lot of that, but the manager is a part of a lot of it, but not having veteran leadership is a part of it as well. The mistakes that were made, some of the things that were done on the field, the way things were handled in the locker room. There's a veteran presence that needs to be in there. And why not make it a former MVP?
Just 2 years ago.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy batted .245 with 22 home runs, and I think he had 60-something RBIs this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a 37-year-old first baseman. So those aren't terrible statistics. I mean, I would have taken that this year.
We all would have.
You know what I mean?
Would have.
So, yeah. I would be in on it because I think that it brings a veteran presence. I still think that he can hit 20 home runs. I still think he can drive in 80 RBIs, and I still think he can play a productive first base. So yeah, I mean, and I know people say it's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be this, that, and the third.
Don't care.
Like I said, I think you made a great point a couple weeks ago. It ain't our money.
Yeah.
Why do we care?
Why do you as fans care so much about what a player makes?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, realistically, I don't care. Jeimer Candelario's contract is not a good-looking contract. Guess what?
Nope.
I don't lose sleep over what he's getting paid. I lose sleep over how he's batting.
Correct.
Those things don't go hand in hand. You can have a bad contract and still have good seasons.
Yep.
And I'm so sick of this whole being afraid, like, scared money don't make no money. As Ben and I have talked about for weeks now.
Sure don't.
So here's where I'm at. I'm willing to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to give him a 1-2 year. I don't care.
Yeah, he's 1 year, one option. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think that's terrible.
right. He can hit homers still. He's not the guy he used to be. The strike zone's shrunk on him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But is he better than any other option you currently have? As far as we know right now, yes. And can he DH if you need him to? Yes. If you're worried about him cover, his legs in first base anymore, yes. And if you sign him to a 1-year contract and comes June and he's really struggling, he's not helping your team win, bye-bye.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
It's not like you're hurting anything with this. So, again, we have no idea if he's even willing to do the deal. He might not be willing to come to Cincinnati.
Yeah, absolutely.
He will be because of Terry Francona. But I'm not in that room.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of everybody like, well, we got CES. Like, what has CES done consistently and says, yeah, that he's going to be the guy?
Yeah. Okay. Here's Nick. Because we're limited on money, bad investments, slip around for good ones. If the Reds are willing to be spenders, then I wouldn't care. But obviously working with a certain range. Okay. Again, I don't think anyone in this conversation is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But do we really think, and we talk about this all the time, we're the Sell the Team Bob company, right? We're the company that people hate us.
Mm-hmm.
Because we put a billboard up because they didn't spend enough money. Do we really think MLB owners can't spend more money? Do we really think that? And why do we care about their pockets?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, like, we need to end this. We need to end this conversation on everything. Because look, if ownerships want to put money into their team, especially in baseball where there's no salary cap, they can do it.
Yeah.
So
I think people fall into that false sense of, well, they don't have the money. That's not the case.
Stop.
That's not the case.
Stop limiting the front office and not holding them accountable. Stop just being like, okay, we're still going to go to games anyway.
That's a good way of putting it. Yep. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. We're putting limitations on them that we really don't even have the right to put limitations on. Like,
yeah,
that's not our spot.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that I think they should do it. It's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that if it happens, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments right now. They need outfielders. They absolutely need outfielders. We've talked about this for weeks, months, the whole season. Yeah. I've been very open about trading for Luis Robert, as Pat says right here. I would love Luis Robert. Steve brings up Teoscar Hernandez and Anthony Santander. Would love either of those or both.
Yep.
Robert, go get Juan Soto then. Yes, go get Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Go get Juan Soto.
I am not disagreeing with you. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Damn right, go get Juan Soto. Make him say no.
Yep.
Why are we just okay with being mediocre?
Yep.
Like, why do you guys just accept this? This is not what we need from this anymore. We've done this for 30 years. 30 years we've waited for this team. We just figured out. I've stopped myself saying the F word about 7 times.
I'm so proud of you. That's growth. That's growth.
Dream on. Maybe I am dreaming on, but I'm sorry that I want my team to actually want to win. I'm tired of sitting in this stupid lull, and we're like, well, we don't have the money the Yankees do. We don't have the money the Dodgers do. So what?
Yep.
So what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we don't.
No,
but guess what? We can still try to make the team better. We can't just sit there with our thumbs twisted, like twiddling our thumbs the whole time. But yeah, if it happened, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But just flat out being like closing the door and be like, I'm out. Why? Yeah. Is he better than what you currently have at first base and what you saw last year? Yes. Much better than what
absolutely.
That's just my 2 cents.
No, I agree with you. That's why I said I'm like, there's nothing in the previous season that says that signing that guy is going to hurt us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you like you said, you have to take a risk. He's a guy that's a former MVP, and he's going to be playing in Great American Ballpark. So I mean, he's got a good chance of still hitting 20 to 25 home runs, batting 250, and driving in 80 runs. Like, you're telling me you don't want that? Is that not something you desire? Is that not something that you think that is going to help our team win baseball games? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe the bourbon I'm sipping on is just hitting a little quicker tonight. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, maybe I'll read this. I'll listen to this episode on Monday and be like, "What the hell was I saying?"
I said that.
Yeah, wouldn't be the first time. Probably won't be the last.
It happens. It happens.
So David here says CES can hit 25 homers on 450K. Again, my whole point here is that not that any of you are wrong. This is not what I'm trying to say. That's very well a possibility. But what have we legitimately seen that's going to happen?
Yep.
Look, I love the idea of CES. We all love the idea of CES. We think he can. We sure as hell think he's capable of doing that. Haven't seen it. Haven't seen it at the big league level.
Yep. And Goldschmidt has proof in his pudding.
Yeah. And the thing about baseball, dude, is like how many teams realistically just don't go back to the playoffs every year? I mean, this year is different, obviously. But how many times are we like, oh, wow, there's 5 new teams that were in the playoffs the year before?
Yeah.
You can't just sit there and go, well, we need Noelvi Marte to mature. We do need Noelvi Marte to mature. I agree. But that shouldn't stop you. Your idea of what Noelvi Marte is should not stop you from trying to make your team better.
Yep.
Your
wishes of hoping that he's going to be better shouldn't stop you.
What's our boss Chad say all the time? Hope is not a strategy.
Nope, it sure isn't.
Nope, it's not a strategy in life. It's not a strategy in baseball. And I understand the conversation on the Cardinals' end is they want to get younger. They stink. David, he hit 25 home runs last year. I mean, you think that like he's just done and washed? I mean, I don't think that's the case. I think he's not who he used to be. But okay, so he's still 716 OPS, kind of gross. Gross.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, but who cares? 1 year, if it sucks, you will Myers him. And I think that's okay. And I do get the idea because the conversations around the Reds have been like, well, they're going to get Sonny Gray and they're going to go do this. And like, I understand that people don't want those old Cardinal players. But now, in the Walt Jocketty era, I would have been on this conversation like, getting on this podcast, like, oh, yeah, that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, get better than the 30-year-old. I'm fine with that. If Lou Bob comes here and is a center fielder for the Reds, hell yeah, let's roll. Like, I want that more than I want anything else. But how many teams are going to give up a 30-year-old to the Reds at this point without the Reds having to give up the guys you're in love with? Not true. Designated hitters are a thing in the National League now. And I mean, we've been the captains of a lot. We've been the captains of play Spencer Steer first base. If that's going to be, that's like our best solution. I want that more than I want Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, realistically, I do, but he's part of the team. He's controlled for a long time. And I think he's a good, obviously we're all big fans of him. Plus he went to Oregon, so he always gets cool swag. So
yes, he does.
That helps. What are you willing to give up for Lou Bob? I'd give it a bit personally. Good amount. Amount. I think just solidifying that spot. So
I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
This is why Sid the Schwab is here, right here. In GABP per Baseball Savant, Goldschmidt would have hit 34 homers last year.
There you go.
Am I just drunk right now?
No,
okay.
No, not at all. No, I just think that
because normally I don't get this passionate. So
no, I love it because I just think that's like you said. Everybody's got this idea of what things should be, and I mean, to me, like you've got to think broader. You got to think about some of that stuff. We got to get out of that box. We got to start shooting our shot.
Yeah, I'm so tired of wishing. We wish for Nick Senzel. We wish for Jonathan India. We wish for Homer Bailey every so often. Dear Ellie, India Marte, Candy, India McLean, Arroyo, all infielders. Fair. 1,000% fair. Don't disagree at all. But am I in the market? We thought that last year with Candelario. They added an infielder. So I don't know. Can we do a sign and trade? Do they do that in baseball like they do in the NBA? Can we trade Candelario to the Cardinals? I think we know. Yeah, I think. But okay, so how do we know he's making $26 million on this team next year? Spot Check right now has about 1 year, $12 million.
which is to me, it's willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
12 mil in baseball years is nothing.
Right. In any professional sports at this point.
Yep.
So, all right. That's just kind of, again, I was willing to hear the conversation. Sign and pray. I like that. I like sign and pray. I'll take this one on the chin if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but I would be more than happy to see this team go out there and try to win. I care more about that than I care about how much money they're spending on anybody. I think anyone wants to talk about the reason they're saying no is money. He's still better than anything you had last year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not saying I want them to do it. I'm just listening to the conversation. I can see why it makes sense.
Yep.
Especially with Tito.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, Tito's
it definitely makes sense.
All those Cleveland teams, he always had good veterans who were like older and washed up and gave him good production.
Yep.
All the time. He also had his Jose Ramirez. He also had his, Francisco Lindors. Yeah. And I believe in CES too. I'm not trying to say that I think CES is just not going to be possible, but I also really, and I fully believe in Matt McLean. I have never stepped away from that. Yeah. Sydney, Coco Crisp. I mean, hell, Niger Morgan almost had them win a World Series. Like Niger Morgan. So yeah, I'm fine either way. I'm just voicing why I don't think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But if your whole thing is to be stuck in a rebuild and you just want the Reds to be where they are forever, have at it. Dick, any hope Candy plays closer to his contract and more consistent next season? Yeah, I think that I mean, his May was really good this year.
Yeah.
So if he can kind of find a way to even be a third of that, that'd be awesome. David, again, at the end of 23, we're all going nuts with a Z. David must really like sheets like we do.
Hey, I like it.
Without CES, Martin McLean. Got to let them grow. I agree.
Yep.
I agree. So, see, here we go. I like it. I can get David to come around. I feel like I did pretty well. Well, we got two Davids tonight. We have Davidception. So, I'm open to it. I don't disagree either way, but I think we should have a broader mind about it. Is probably my sober thoughts, but my drunkenness is coming out a little more. I know the Sonny Gray thing's coming up a lot too.
Yeah. I'm
not as in love with that at this point, but I get it. And would be okay with it, but I do want to see them. Yeah, I absolutely would love to see if they can get guys with more control that they can kind of have for a few more years. I absolutely agree with that. If they can develop more guys from the minor league system and bring them up to help this team win. Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now it's looking like that group is already established in the big leagues. Well, I shouldn't say established because we don't know about CES and Marte. And we really don't know about Matt McLean. We just believe he's still really good because what we saw from him was he was the best part of the 23 team.
Right.
So, yeah, Nick Martinez looking like he's going to come back as well. There's a lot there. Backup catcher, something I still think about. So, yeah, David, I agree. David says here, it does suck our young guys miss an entire year of growth and development. Absolutely.
Yep,
sucks.
absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely sucks. And I don't know, maybe I'm just contradicting myself, but this is exactly where I'm at. I'm tired of hope. I want proven major leaguers. Jeff says Sonny isn't coming here. Turned down coming back when he's signed with the Cardinals. Yes, but he can be traded. So I don't know if he has a trade clause or not. I'll have to look at Spot Track.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need Sid the Schwab on that one. This escalated quickly. I'm bummed about Williamson. I was eager to see him. Yeah, Joey, I was too. Okay, so Jeff, he does have a full no trade. Okay. I wouldn't blame him a bit if he was pissed off and didn't want to come back here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. One bit. Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know. Anything else we need to touch on before we get out of here? Because I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point.
No, I don't think there's any other news.
Can we also just make one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's our show.
Yeah. If the Cardinals are rebuilding and getting rid of all those guys, that's a very good thing for the Reds.
Yeah. Yeah. It won't. I mean, they usually do things the right way. For the Cardinals. So I mean, if they're in it now, you have a very small window in order to be able to win that division and be able to beat them before they get back to where they were before.
Yeah.
So you got to take advantage of that now.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, Goldschmidt's not even on my top 10 targets for the Reds this offseason.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be against it.
Right.
Lou Bob's still my number one. Santander and Tyler O'Neill are still my top group as well. I would dude, if Lou Bob got traded to the Reds, I would pick him up at Lunkin and take him to his press conference. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, that's one of those where if that were to happen, like then you would know like we're at least trying to head in the right direction. You're like, oh, okay, like that's a move where you're like, okay, they're serious. Like Francona really had his ear and his say on some things. So yeah, so that would be legit.
I like this point from David Brown a lot. I think this is a great point and fair. CES played 29 games last season, was obviously injured the entire. It's highly doubtful the Reds are not going to give him the same amount of bats that Benson received last season. I 1,000,000% agree.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, the National League has a designated hitter now.
Yeah.
And has for 4 years. So.
That's something that's crazy too. Because I do. That's a really good point because I do think the Reds. I mean, I think they kind of screwed him actually. I mean, because he was obviously not himself. Like when he got hurt and came back, and then they were doing all these. Well, he needs X-rays, and we're not sure. And both, I would agree with that. I would agree that they did not handle that very well.
Yeah. Plus, I'm not 1,000% certain if Jonathan India is going to be back next year. I don't really know if I want him back. Not that I dislike him.
You are right.
I'd be fine if he was, but if he's not, I'm okay too. Yeah. Especially because it sounds like the Mariners are going to be in the market for a second baseman.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they want to not have Julio Rodriguez before his contract gets expensive? Huh?
Ooh.
Huh?
Ooh.
This is total wishful thinking at this point.
Maybe.
Maybe,
you never know.
Yeah, God. I know he had a bad year last year, but I freaking love Julio Rodriguez, and I still believe he is the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can definitely bounce back at GABP for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, he wouldn't have to play defense against you anymore for 6 times a year.
Right.
God, that Seattle series early in the year, he just killed them because he threw out. He was like awesome.
Yes.
All right. Well, I think we should probably get out of here before I make more of a jerk of myself.
Dude, no, that was good. That was awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think we should go ahead and safely get out of here before you can see the alien in my cup. I don't know. Should I do this every week?
Oh, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess we should do some housekeeping real quick on that, by the way. So for those who do keep up with the NFL, you know that the Bengals were flexed next week to Sunday Night Football for some reason. Because, America wants to watch this team play.
Yeah.
So we will not be here next week because people will be watching the Bengals more than they'll be watching us, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So we're going to take the week next week, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. And then before our Christmas break, we have our Christmas episode on December 15th. Next Sunday. So come hang out with us. Last year we did the really successful Christmas music draft that we all had a lot of fun. This year we're doing the Christmas movie draft. So December 15th, pencil that in. We'll have the lottery at that point, so we'll know where the Reds are picking in the draft as well. If they're in that, I don't even know. That's way above my salary cap. But anyway, thank you guys as always for hanging out. Thank you for disagreeing with me, honestly.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love the conversation. I love that you guys came in here and are respectful for your opinions. I think that is what Red's Twitter is missing on anything. Is no one can talk to each other without calling someone an idiot or a dummy. And we don't have to do that here. And that's not what we want. We just want to have conversation with you guys. So thank you for all of that. We're definitely grateful. But hey, on behalf of Ben Brown, this is Tim Daniel. Check out this week's Red Leg Roundtable. I am hosting the Riverfront this week. maybe shouldn't drink for that one because it's during the week. And of course, tomorrow being Veterans Day, thank you to all who have served and take care of our country.
Absolutely.
And hope that you get your delicious bloomin' onion at Outback Steakhouse.
Absolutely.
So, on behalf of Ben Brown, this is Tim Daniel. I'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.